Little our theme today is little packages, big smiles. And so I thought that would be fun today, and we could have some fun with that. Okay, now I got another place I can watch my comments. Hey Linda, how are you? Linda, Pat, Debbie, Annette, you guys, thanks so much for being on. Get some other people coming on here. Although, I've been bad about going live lately, and so people are probably wondering if I even do it anymore. But I do. You guys, what I'm going to do today is make some simmering pot recipes, and we'll talk about some ways to package those up. Because what better thing to give somebody than something to make their home smell great, right? Now, I cannot do much in the way of smell good candles and things. Sometimes I can, but a lot of things that are in those fragrance things really bother me. I've got a little bit of asthma and respiratory stuff sometimes, and so it really bothers me, and I can't do that. But I do know that a lot of stuff that is, the real fragrance from the real food items or things like that, those don't bother me, and I love to have those to smell and make something great to smell. And then I don't know about any of you, but if you ever have a cold or anything, does it just make things worse? Oh my goodness, if I've been sick and I try to walk down the aisle where there's detergent, oh, it just kills me. The cleaning products and the detergent and stuff, I just can't even do it. So personal problems, right? So I am just about to the point here. I don't know. That makes me really irritated that my special little countdown thing didn't work. And then going back and looking at it, I think, user error, like we usually have, right? Usually it's user error. So let's get down to business here. Let me switch you down to the desktop. Okay, there we go. Got some fun things to do. How many of you have ever done like some of these fun things where you make some simmering pot things? How many of you have done that before? You can use things that are fresh and use them like that, or you can use dried things. Oh, Linda, you have migraines. Oh my goodness. And yes, some fake smells are terrible. Hi Lisa, how are you? Lynn, hi. Oh, well, welcome. Lynn is new to me. Where are you with a sleeveless shirt? I'm in Texas. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what the temperature is today, but I got in the car. I had to run to the store real quick. I wanted to go to the bulk section. We have a store that is I think it is like an employee-owned store, and they're actually, there's a chain of them. It's not just a single store, but they have the best, bulk section I have ever seen, you guys. And so I was going to run up there to see what they had, and some of what I bought last year, they didn't even have. So I was kind of disappointed in that. And you see what something is going to cost. Like, I think Cinnamon said it was something like $17 something a pound. Is this my receipt from today? Yeah, so, when it says something like that, you're kind of leery of how much you get, right? So I thought, okay, I'll just get a few. So my cinnamon sticks here were 58 cents. So I'm like at the register, weighing them, punching in my little codes. And I'm like, well, I could have gotten more than that because I'm sure I will use them along the way, right? Oh my goodness. And here are apple things. Now, these are supposed to be dried. And I don't know if you guys know, I'm not going to worry about touching them because we're not eating them, right? We're going to throw them in some, they're going to be in the end thrown in some boiling water and simmered, so it doesn't matter if I touch them, right? But these are, dried things sometimes are just, they're not dry, which is so weird to me because I often think they should just be crispy. Now, I want to say like a little over a year ago, my daughter got a, let me move this down. There we go. My daughter got a, what do you call it? A freeze dryer. And so, when you pull things out of the freeze dryer, they're crispy. And like here is one, and I was trying to remember. We've got some that sat somewhere to where they've kind of lost their color, and I can't remember if this was an orange or a lemon because their color's really changed. I think it's an orange. So you can see it's really changed. It looks more orange here than it does in person. And it's sticky. The sugar content in things like fruits come out and they get kind of sticky. But as far as when you freeze dry or dehydrate or dry things out, evidently freeze drying retains more of the nutrients than just, drying them out. But you can take something like that. You can take your apples, your oranges, your lemons, whatever you want to put. You can slice them up and put them on a tray in the oven and put it on super low and dry them out like that. So that is a great way to use if you're going to, put some things in and give to somebody for making some of these simmer pot things. Lisa, hey there, that was fun. I loved watching that. Such great ideas. Cheryl says, yes, Cheryl, freeze-dried apples are crispy. Yes, I know. Isn't that odd? So, yes, and the other ones are just, but, if you're going to throw them in, it doesn't really matter. So you can take something like this, and I think a fun way to make up a little something to give somebody would just be to take a glass jar and pop them in. This is one of the little mandarin oranges that you can buy, the little bagfuls, and I used a bunch of these last year. And you guys, I had something simmering on the stove for literally weeks. I mean, not the same bunch. I had to keep redoing it. But we had a very awful situation that happened. And, it's true life. We had a mouse or something that died somewhere that we had no idea where. And it started smelling about either 1 or 2 days before Christmas. We had company coming for Christmas. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, what are you going to do? You got to do something, right? So I whipped up some of this stuff and we kept it on the stove. And it was worse like in the kitchen, you guys. You could tell it was somewhere, it might have been under the house or something in a place that we really couldn't get to. And and it was after that I thought, as long we had a cat almost continuously for years and years, and as long as we had a cat, I had never had anything like that happen. And then we had something like that happen twice within a number of months. Of course, we had, the wonderful exterminator come out and tried to deal with that. But, so this had been long after the exterminator had been there. And that was when I thought, you know what? We may need to just get a cat again just for wandering around and see if that wouldn't help. So luckily, we haven't had anything like that since. Thank goodness. But if you were going to put in fresh pieces like this to give somebody, I think the thing to do was you would want to let them know that they needed to do it right away. So I'm just going to stick in, and I might have to reuse some of these things because I don't know. We're gonna do some packaging too, though. But look how fun this is. It just looks so cute, and you could take some of your little. This is never a good look to do things like top. The way that I always have this where you're getting a top-down view when I do things like this, it's not as fun as when I do the paper craft stuff, right? And I did find some dried cranberries as well. You could put in, I didn't see fresh cranberries out yet. They didn't have any at that store I was at. But, you could add a mix of dried and fresh to something, and it would just be so pretty. Look at that. I wonder if I could get my little lemon in there too. I don't know. That would be kind of tight, but it might fit in this jar. And then all you got to do is decorate up your little, your little jar. I'm afraid if I get that in, I won't be able to get it out. Then we'll just have silly stuff going on. But you can put those in there. You can add some cloves. Those little star of, how do you say it? A-N-I-S-E. I don't know how to really say that. I'm not going to. I think I call it, I'm not even going to say. I don't remember what I call it. You know, my brain just freezed. I'm about half sick, guys. But you can put all these things in here, you know, and just get them all pretty. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and put some of these apple slices in here. Some of these cloves. The little star, what do they call it? Star of anise? Is that how you say it? Cheryl, are you still on here? Do you know? Now this is almost a little bit, that my jar seems almost a little big for putting these in. So you'd want to, you know, pack up your things, or maybe even if you're going to put them in here, you might even tie something around them as you're putting them in. That would even make your jar look really pretty. And what I think would be fun is once you get it on, then you could wrap some twine around it or something fun. Hey, how are you guys doing? Timing is everything. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I have no idea what that's in regard to, Bev, but no kidding. And just, you know, make it a little bit rustic. If you wanted to put a little bit of fabric around the top. Oh, I forgot my fabric. Hang on one second. I'm going to grab my, I just had something I was going to use. Hang on. Here's my muslin that I've been using for our what do you call it? You guys, my brain is just fried. I don't know why. For our patchwork of friendship. Phew. And so here's my muslin that I've been using. Now you could take your muslin or your fabric. Take your fabric. You guys, I used to do all kinds of stuff with fabric, and after we moved, or no, before we moved from Minnesota, we had a terrible wet problem in our basement, and we had to clear out a ton of stuff. And I had boxes of fabric that had gotten wet, and I just had to get rid of them. I mean, they were nasty. Okay, so here's something that we could do. We could take this, take our jar lid and draw around it, and then cut our circle bigger than that. Now, you know, if you get this bigger, this is going to take care of some of that. In this particular jar, it's going to take care of not being some of that not filling to the top, right? There are so many ways that you can combine your fruits and spices to make something like this. I mean, just tons of ways. And some of the things that you can think of, you know, that would be like a pumpkin spice recipe, or your pumpkin spices. Oh, I wish I had my pinking shears. I thought about that and then I forgot to get them. And now, well, this isn't pinking shears, but look, it's going to be choppy. Holy cow. But some of your seasonal spices that you think about using, combinations like that would be great for this. Now, I'm trying to do 2 layers here because one just seems so thin. But, yeah, if you used a pair of pinking shears, that'd be perfect. So when you do something like this, now it doesn't really matter how off I am in any direction. All I have to do is put this over my lid like this. And then if you wanted to, you could do it 2 ways. There's 2 ways to do this. You could either put your ring back in here and, you know, cover the whole thing and then decorate it like that. Put your twine around it. Or if you want to, and you can do it like this, you can just put it over the ring and then put this on like this. Now you can't do that. What am I thinking? That won't work because it'll be too tight. It won't screw on. Oh my goodness. You guys. I'm totally out of it today, aren't I? That won't work. Like I said, just watch me and then you'll get all the ideas of what not to use. Oh my goodness. So all you gotta do is put this on here. Oh my goodness. All right. Hey Sue, how are you doing? Hey Joan, Joanne. You guys, I'll go back and see who all is on here and tell you hello. I haven't not been on. We were gone a couple weeks. I went to the fun event that was in Missouri. We had such a great time. Some of our other presenters here in the Crafty Bunch were here. Am I going to be able to do this? You know what? Hey. Oh, I have a good idea. Please hold. Do I have a rubber band? I thought I had a rubber band. Nope. I thought I did. If I had a rubber band, it would help me grab that and get started on it. Well, I could... Oh, what happened? Why did that do that? Okay, hang on. Don't panic. What in the world? I do not know why that changed the view. Okay, hang on, you guys. What in the world? Okay, well, that's better. Hang on. I don't know what happened. This is just a day, right? This is not a good day, evidently, for me. Huh. Okay. All right, we're kind of back in business. All right. Well, if it would have had a... I'm sorry, these things are right under my face. If we would have had a rubber band handy, that would have been handy. Hi, Callie. How are you? Anyway, we went to the thing in Marshfield and had so much fun. And it was a 2-day event that Cheryl, Mama P, put on. And we just had so much fun. And then I came home and had 2 days. And then Steve and I left and went to Denver to see family. And so that was a kind of a fast and furious trip. We weren't there all that long. Oh, you guys, if you do this, get a rubber band. I would holler at him to bring me one, but he is home from work and sick. Everybody at our house is coughing and hacking. You're lucky I'm not here with you in person, so I don't have to share any germs with you all, right? Oh my goodness. Now, if you had something cute that you wanted to pop on that ring, you could cut a circle out like that and then put that on there, and that would look adorable. I used to make some things like this and do something similar, and they were little cross-stitched things. And I had sweet little cross-stitch things, and now this is all crooked. I had sweet little cross-stitch pictures, and I would put them like on jam jars and stuff. And they just made the most adorable little things. Okay, I've got this really crooked, but yeah, if you're gonna try doing it something like this, put a rubber band around it so you can do it. Now, what you can do with this would be take these, and you could make a cute little tag and put some little directions on it. Now, if you're not getting my newsletter, be sure and sign up. Just go to my website, and up at the top, so it's my artfuladventures.com, and up at the top menu bar, you'll see something that says newsletter, and if you will just type on, or just click on that, it will take you where you can sign up for the newsletter. You guys, I'm afraid as soon as I let this go, it is going to... Okay, so now you could use these and put something cute for your little thing. But if you're getting my newsletter, I am gonna put in some little recipe ideas for this, for some of these little combinations of things. Phew, it's already 23 minutes past the hour. So then you could put a little tag. Let me see here. I just have some plain paper. You know what? Let's come back to this in a few minutes. Okay? So another thing that we could do is we could put some in a package, and we could, hi Tammy. Hi Virginia, how are you? Yes, oh my gosh, but Lisa, isn't that the truth? It just smells so wonderful. So you guys, you don't have to have a dried, already put together little thing for your simmering pot. Take an apple, slice it up, take a lemon, slice it up, an orange, and you can always throw other things in as it goes. So, it can take just the smallest amount of stuff to make it smell fabulous. And as it goes, and I think the reason that some of these have so many ingredients is the fact that the more that you put in there, the more layering that you get for your, I want to say, it's not flavors because you're not tasting it. It would be your smell profile. There's the flavor profile and then there's the smell profile, right? So it would just be so fun. And I have got some really fun, I've got a whole bunch of these ideas. And so be sure and sign up for the newsletter. I mean, everything, and here was one that was like some coffee shop ideas. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that would smell so good. I'm also going to put some information in there because some of the things talk about like a teaspoon of the whole spice. Well, we don't always have the whole spice to work with, right? And so when you don't, what are you going to do? How do you know how much to use of like a ground spice to be able to, change that up? And so I'm going to give you some information about that too. If you have like a teaspoon that it says a teaspoon of like cloves, it doesn't take you a whole bunch to to change that up. You're just gonna leave it probably like a quarter teaspoon or so. And so you can take some cinnamon. Here's our little apple pieces. We could take some cinnamon and apples. That's always a great one, right? Let's cheat and pull some stuff back out of this one. I'm not going to have enough to make all of these. So put some apples and cinnamon. That's always a good one. You could put in cinnamon and cloves and apples and all the things. Think of like if you were going to make a apple pie. Any of those kinds of spices. And that's what I was going to say before. When you think of some of the spices that you use for any of those foods, those make great things to put in. And if you have to have it like just going all the time and you're going to turn down the stove and keep it simmering for eons, all you have to do is just throw in a few more. And I would add more water and I would just keep it going and going and going. Let's just throw some of these in because it looks pretty, right? And some of these kinds of things you can even add in some vanilla beans. Oh, and talking about making things like this, I know some of our creators, I have watched them and they have talked about and shown us how to make things like vanilla. Now at this time of year for gifting for, you know, fall and holidays, I think we're kind of past that time. We should do it now, and then we'll have it ready for next year, right? Because this is going to be too, we don't have enough time. I want to say, for some of you who have done that, if you are on here, what would you say is the smallest amount of time that you could work to, you know, get that on there? And this might not even be this might not even be the best blend, you guys. But look how pretty they look in here, right? So, but I wanted to get something like this because I'm going to show you a couple of packaging ideas, all right? So, our first package, we might want to make it flatter. We're going to make it a little bit flatter. Now, you can just make a fun little topper for something like this. If you've got some of these little cellophane bags to flatten out, you could make a topper. Just Seaside Craft Studio. What's your name? I don't recognize your page name. You make your own vanilla. How long would you say is the least amount of time to let that set before you would use it? I am wondering. Okay, so one of the things that you could do is you could just take some pretty paper, take a chunk of it off, I would say at least 3 inches, because then when you fold it over, it could be like 1.5 inches at the top. Even like, you know, 4 inches, so you have 2 inches on each side would be great. Okay, she says she lets it sit for a minimum of 3 to 6 months. The longer it sits, the better. That's what I was thinking. I think what I had heard was a minimum of 6 months, but 3 months in a pinch, huh? Let me get this. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece of paper because I'm doing some kind of fall ones. I know Cheryl's made some too, and Bev too. I've seen Bev and Cheryl both make that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this 12 by 12 paper and we're just going to fold it over. I'm just going to do it to where it touches in the middle. Let me see if no, it's not. It's way up there. I was going to grab my double-sided adhesive, but it's way up in the sky on my little fun pegboard thing. So I don't really know how much of this I want to be, how tall I want it, okay? So I'm just going to run this glue all the way up here. So I could have used some double-sided tape. I just wasn't well, you know what? Why is it that you just feel like you've got your act together and then you realize I didn't? Thank you for hanging in there with me, you guys. I so appreciate that. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it like this. So it's overlapped about 1/2 inch. So I'm just gonna have to let that stick a second. And this'll grab pretty fast, so I won't have to wait too long. Some people say a year for that, huh? Yeah. You always have 2 quart jars. Oh my goodness. So one is sitting for probably a year before you use it. That is really a great idea. You know, I don't do enough baking that I really have, you know, thought about doing that for myself. I think it is such a great idea though for a gift. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take this and we're going to, I am not going to, what you could, okay, we could make some gussets in it, but I'm not going to. We could, but I'm not. If I was going to make gussets, I should have already thought about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the end, just like this. And I'm not going to, Oh my goodness. My little thing broke off around the neck, so when I take that off, it's just loose. I'm going to put some glue in here and seal this up so it'll lay down nice. And then I'm going to trim this other part off so we don't have that. This paper is too thick to roll up another time so that it would have a real, you know, pretty finished edge to it. So we'll just do that. And you know, today, you guys, I need to look over here. I need to see if anybody popped on from YouTube. I haven't been going live on YouTube at the same time, and I think my YouTube channel has been suffering for that. So I thought, you know what, I may as well just do it. Hey, Anne, how are you? There's our friend Anne from over there in Northern Ireland. She is such a sweet supporter of our craft pages. She's just a delightful soul. And she's always crafting along and sharing what she makes too. Okay, there. See, just by cutting that off, it's not super even, but it looks a lot better, right? We don't have that big white blob on the edge. Now, we're going to slide in our package here, our little packet. And I could have kind of mitered those corners a little bit, but this doesn't tip up far enough that I think it'll make a whole lot of difference. Yes, Seaside Craft Studio, I can only imagine. That's like so many other things that once you make your own, you can't hardly stand to do store-bought, right? For a while, I was doing a food plan and I made my own mayonnaise, and I tell you what, it was a long time before I found a mayonnaise I could stand to have again that was store-bought after doing that. There was such a huge difference in the way homemade mayonnaise tasted than store-bought, and it took me a long time, and I finally found something else that I really liked. Now I could have like trimmed those off like I said. Okay, so now we can just slide this in here just like this. And we've got a fun little package. Now, we could either cut this off and, you know, make it to where it's there's lots of ways you could do at the top, you guys. So you can either, you know, just bend it over and fold it. You could staple it. You could do whatever you wanted to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck these in. Let's decide where we're folding it though. I've got to make a good crease there first. And then I will go down to that edge. I'll make the inside one come over farther. This is going to be a lot like, you know, wrapping a gift, right? To where you don't want that other part to show. And then I can trim this part off. I don't even have to see where I want it. We can fold this over. And now it would be fun to, and I mean, it's way longer than it needs to be, but I don't have to worry about this part getting into my package that my cellophane package that's inside, right? You know what, I need to do this side so I can see where I need to put it. I'm going to put 2 holes across here. Like that. And put some ribbon in. I'll just put a little bit of ribbon in. And that way, you know, we'll just dress it up a little bit. So, guys, if you are buying any ribbon off of Amazon, be very careful when you buy it and make sure that you are not buying something that has only ribbon wrapped around a styrofoam circle, because that is a nightmare. And I have finally come up with a way to deal with it, but I wish I didn't own any of it. Okay. I love organza ribbon because it ties so nice. It just really is. Yeah, I got way more here than I needed, you guys. But, you know, on this, you could make another little label with this. Punch out a little circle or something and put some little information on the back, so it kind of becomes like a gift tag or your instructions on how to do it. But, you know, just a little pretty something. Now, nobody would ever know what's inside that, right? They would never guess what we put in there. But we can also make some pretty little boxes. Maybe you want to put your little gift inside a little box. And the way that we could do that, and I've got my little cheat sheet here. I think I'm going to make a little box that is, let me see, like about 3 inches. Now, where's my one? 3 by 3. Oh, this would be a good one. The 3.5 by 3.5. This is a good size, like for ornaments or anything. And so we need a square of paper that's 10.5 inches square. So look at this cute paper that's kind of fall-like. So look how fun this would be for making some of these little fall flavored simmering pot recipes. What did I say? 10.5? Yes, 10.5. So you have a square for this particular one. 10.5. Oh, I was thinking I was going to have a lot extra to make a little circle tag, and that's not going to be right. I've only got these little strips left. Okay, so then what we're going to do is score these. Hang on, I'm going to get my big scoreboard thing out. Maybe I'm going to get it. Oh my goodness. All right, hang on, you guys. Phew. That's not even the one I want. Okay. I really did think about what I was going to do. Truly. It just has not come together like I planned. All right. Oh my word. Okay, and now for the lid. Let's make a lid. Let me cut the paper for the lid too. Okay, I'm going to let you help me pick paper for a lid, you guys. What do you think? I kind of like these 3 papers to go with this one. What do you think? So we've got, I'm going to say 1, 2, or 3. What do you think for the lid? This is my audience participation. Oh my gosh. Lynn, was yours on that weird styrofoam circle that they sent it? That was awful. Okay, you guys, 1, 2, or 3. What do you think for our fabulous colors to make a box lid out of? You could use them as place cards for Thanksgiving dinner. Yes, 1. Yeah, that would be fun. 2. This is gonna be like everything. We're gonna have like such a a bunch of answers, right? So let me show you what it looks like with the real paper. Okay. Ooh, I kind of like this one, you guys. So the lid for this one, oh, you guys, I think that's just so bright and off. I actually think, this one looks good. And then the other one would be this one. This would be good too. I actually think I like this one best though. I'm going to use that one. A green lid. Ooh, is there a green in here? Oh, let's see about that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So here's the green. Oh, that is kind of pretty. It's not as bright in person as it is on this view here. You guys, I think I'm just going to go in person. This one, to me, looks best. So I'm going to go with this one. Yeah, two. All right, let's do it. And then let me pull out that one and cut it. And so for this one, for the lid, we need 5.5 by 5.5. You guys, we're gonna, I'm sorry if this is super noisy. So we'll just cut this out real quick. And you guys, these boxes go together so quickly. They really do. Okay. Alrighty. So now, see, I have plenty of that one to do some tags with. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh. You guys, I have got the biggest mess. I usually have some paper towels here, but no. I had my closed drink tip over. Well, at least all of it didn't come out, right? Oh my goodness. So, there's that. Oh, geez, Marie. All right, so 4 and 3.5. So now we need to score this at 3.5 all the way around. The duller sage green. That was the one I showed. That's how it looked on the camera. That's the one I showed. Okay, so 3.5 is what we're gonna do all the way around. So we score it this way, we rotate it, score it at 3.5 this way, again the other side. So just on all 4 sides, we're gonna score the same thing. Okay. So this makes just a real simple little box. And what we're going to do is you pick one side, it doesn't really matter which one, and then you are going to cut straight up. You know, I probably should have done this with my paper trimmer. So we're going to cut up to the line. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so cut up to this line. Do the same one on the same side. Cut the other one up. Flip it around and do the ones on the very opposite side. Up after me is going to be Anne's Create and Share. So I can hardly wait to see what everybody does today. Always though, always these events are always so fun, and everyone does such a great job. And I think that is such a testament to, you know, the creators that we have, and I just love doing that. Okay, so we've got that one, and now we're going to do the same thing on this. And so this is going to be 1 inch on each side, but what we're going to do to make room for the box, to go over the box and make sure we've got a good fit, what we're going to do is we're going to bump it up to our one side, and then we're just going to put it a minute bit over, and then we'll do 1 inch. And this will give you room for your box. Like if you were doing a box to where the top was just as deep as the box itself, or a lid as deep as the box itself, you could make the box bottom and the box top exactly the same dimensions. All you would need to do, and score them at the same, except all you would do is on your lid piece, you just bump it over that tiny minute amount, and I mean just a tiny bit, and it's going to give you enough room for your box to fit. Now you would need to do, if your paper is not real thick, you don't need to bump it very much. If your paper was a lot thicker, you would want to bump it just a hair bit more, but not much. But this technique is just really fabulous for giving you the room that you need for your lid. Okay, so now then we're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to cut these scores just up to the score line. You know what? That's really hard with those big scissors. Let's use some smaller ones here. Okay. And just flip it around and do the same thing on the opposite side. Just like that. Okay, so now, where's the box bottom? Oh my word. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these and you're going to fold it in like this. You actually, I forgot to do this. You want to trim, you can trim some of this off at a little bit of an angle, both directions, to make these little tabs that are going to tuck inside. Okay. Let's use our bigger scissors for this, you guys, or this is going to take all day. And you don't have to do a bunch, just a little bit. But this is going to help you maneuver these things, and so you just do these outside edges, just the ones, these are going to be the ones that tuck in inside, and it's going to help make your box go together easier when you fold it up. So you know, you can see it's not super precise, just angle cut those off. Okay, so now we're going to take these, and these angle cut ones are going to go together like this, and then this one is going to go up the side. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to match up those lines. So let's go ahead and let's put our glue, we'll just put it all over here real quick. And so we'll do the first one and just match it up, line that one up, and get that on there, press that together. This one could have used a little bit. Why is that so long? You know, this is the part that if you see it needs a little bit of a trim right there. Oh, we should have done that. Hang on a second. Let's do it before we finish. Oh, you guys, I'm coming down to the wire. You can just trim a tiny bit of this off on those outside ones that are the angle cut ones. just go ahead and trim some off. And I might wish I would have trimmed more than that, but at least some. At least some. Okay. There we go. All right. And then I'm just going to put my glue here. And then tuck that in, and again, match your side. Match your corners up. Okay, just like that. And let's do this one. I love this little fall print. This pad, this collection has a bunch of little animals that goes with the collection too. And a lot of these papers are really, they are not really they're kind of a one-directional thing, some of them. So this one wasn't as bad. This paper wasn't quite as bad. So I'm just gonna, oh my goodness, that one's hard to get to in here. So just add your glue along here. Oh my goodness, am I gonna get all my glue out? Okay, so now we've got that. And now for our lid. Gotta do the lid real quick. I've lost my little cover thing. Man, it's getting clogged. I'm gonna leave that in for a second to help keep that closed up. So again, we're gonna angle cut these, and I'm gonna trim a bit off. This brown's probably easier for you to see. And then on the opposite side. But you know, there's so many ways, you guys, that you had to put a simmer pot on. Oh, I tell you what, Cheryl, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm doing that. I just think, oh, it just smells so good. And don't you think at this time of the year, it's just, you know, it's so enjoyable. Oh, I got to see some fall leaves while I was in Colorado. That was a surprise. I thought maybe I would have missed it. So I was so excited to see some fall. Okay, so now this, just fold all of your places that you've scored. Just fold them all, fold them all. Get them all folded up. Okay, so now you're going to do one side. Okay, just do one side first. And I'm going to show you why. Okay, so going to put that one together. Pull this one over here. Okay, and I'm going to put my glue on, but I'm not going to close it up. Wait for it, wait for it. Put it on your box. Put it on your box first. Close it up. And this way, you are going to make sure that for sure it has enough room. Okay. Oh, yes. Wait, you first turn the... Have you had to turn on the furnace, Cheryl? Boy, we haven't had to do that yet. Okay, so now we've got our sweet little, you know, little thing right here. And now we could put, you know, put our goodies in here if we wanted to. And you could either pop them in here just like this, or you could pop them, you know, in a bag. The little, you know, cellophane bags or a Ziploc bag or whatever you might have, right? And this one is going to be, this one's going to be bigger. Am I going to be able to get that out? Yeah. And those, and you know, again, these were like the apples. The dried cranberries are kind of sticky too. So I would love to get some fresh cranberries. But I told you I didn't even see any out yet. I make my own cranberry jelly. Oh, thanks, Linda. Okay, so you could put that in there. There's probably enough room in this one that you could add even the lemon. And, you know, these are kind of, they're not round, they're kind of flat. You'd have room to pop that in there. And just, you know, do whatever you wanted to. And just pop your box together like that. And then you'd have a chance to make a little tag. And which that would be fun. Now, and Callie was saying, you know, you could certainly use a an oval with the other parts that I had, which that makes me wish I had an oval punch I would have gotten out. But she's perfectly, you know, that's such a perfect idea. You know, you could make a big oval here and put it on. Oh, well, shoot, I wish I had like a smaller circle. I could have at least put a smaller circle. Oh, I have a little circle. I'd want more than this, but at least it's better than nothing, right? Let's see. Let's just do it right there. I mean, you'd want something much bigger. but there's an idea, right? You could put your, you know, a fun piece on here and then punch a hole in it and put something fun on there. You could attach it with some twine. You could even run some twine around the lid of your box, just around the edge, and then you could still have, you know, something to tie your, you could glue that on. And, you know, so many ideas, right, to make all of that come together. And thanks you guys for hanging out with me today. And I have to go back. I've been kind of busy doing all of this and didn't get a chance to watch all of your comments. So I'll have to go back and see what everybody had to say while we were doing this today, right? Thanks so much. And I just need to get, let me see. I need to get back and get Anne on before I'm done here. And then we're going to pop over and see her. So Anne's Create and Share. And we will pop over and see what kind of fun things she's got going on today. So as soon as I tell you I've got her over there, let's go and see what she's got on. She's already live. So we are going to be ready to rock and roll with Anne today. And she's got her apron on. She's ready to go. Ready to rock it. Okay, you guys. All right. She has been shared over into the Crafty Bunch group, and let's go over and say hi. You guys, thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.